Jucy are incredibly well known in New Zealand for their very visible rental camper vans, motorhomes, and rental cars around the place, particularly in their bright lime green colour scheme. And we've been trying one out. We're sitting at the moment in a prototype Jucy camper van that was driven around the country by the News and Land team for over 13,000 kilometres. Today with us is Jucy co-founder Dan Alpe. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
No problem, Richard. Good to see you.
So, can you tell us a little bit about this van, how the project got started?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it was probably early last year we sort of saw that there was a movement towards electric vehicles. For us, our camper vans are a sort of iconic part of our business, and we decided that, hey, wouldn't it be a great challenge to go out there and see if we could build an electric camper van that people could actually use. So we purchased a vehicle out of Japan, and this is the vehicle in today. And I started doing some work on it, and we sort of had it up at our factory north of Auckland, tinkering away with a fit out. And then I was reading the EVTalk magazine randomly enough, and I saw an article from two French girls, Heloise and Celine, and that said they were coming to New Zealand to do an electric journey around New Zealand for 5 months, and they were looking for a vehicle. And I think their intention was to buy one, put a mattress in the back, and travel around the country. And to me, it sort of seemed like it could be a great opportunity for us to, we could have just tried to design something and fake it till we make it a little bit. We thought, well, why not give these girls the opportunity to use a real world experience and travel in our van and give us the feedback that we can use to better the proposition going forward. So that's sort of where it all came from, and it sort of snowballed from there. And it's been a pretty amazing last 6 months with all their feedback and everything they've been doing. So it's been great.
And so the van itself, it's a Japanese import Nissan ENV200 with a 24 kilowatt hour battery.
Yes, correct.
Can you tell us, why you chose this van and what's in this fit out? We've got a kitchen and a few other things.
Yeah, so I mean the van, I guess we chose. We're slightly restricted with options. I was on the internet one day. I saw a van come up on the stock list for the company we work with, and I just thought, well, I'll just buy that. It seemed like a nice idea at the time. I didn't really understand the dimensions of it, and typically we'll take a van and we'll put a bed in the back of it and a kitchen at the back. This van here, as it currently lays out, it's not possible to put a full length. Well, maybe for me, I'm not so tall, but for our typical tourists that at a sort of 6 foot plus, we couldn't do that. So it's added a few dynamic challenges to us. So we wanted to have a kitchen in there. So a big part of our designs is to have a fridge freezer unit, to have a kitchen sink, and then to have all our pots and pans and cooking equipment in there. So it was a challenge to take a small van and look at how we could do it. We did that with putting a roof tent on top, and we've been able to put one of our roof tents up there where people can sleep, and we're just using the inside of the van to live in at this stage.
I've tried the roof tent; it's very comfortable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What kind of weight and aerodynamic resistance do you think?
Yeah, so
the van?
I think that probably has quite an impact on this vehicle. So we've got a vehicle that in ordinary circumstances would probably get a 120 kilometre range. We've put a bit of weight with the fit out. We've put our roof tent on it, and I'd say we've probably taken 20 odd kilometres off the range as a result. So long term for us, that's something we have to work towards getting improvements on. So we're doing a fair bit of work now around the aerodynamicness of the vehicle and looking at different options. And we've got some really cool stuff coming out that might be able to improve that sort of proposition.
Fantastic. Can you tell me what you guys learned from the girls' trip and the overall project? I mean, you've indicated me earlier some interesting statistics around your users travelling, I think, around 160 kilometres a day.
Yep.
What else have you learned around how people use these camper vans and how potentially the charging network can support them?
Yeah, well, I think it's been really interesting around the charging network. Obviously, the girls have travelled quite a designed route around New Zealand. What we realised pretty quickly was that our customers do like to stay in campgrounds, and it's a perfect marriage for electric vehicles. Drive to a campground, park overnight, plug into the campground power and recharge. But they also use a lot of the charging infrastructure around the country, and it's been a great learning for us as to where that is. I think as that all evolves, as more and more charging units get off the beaten track a little bit, it's going to have quite a big impact for us. So the girls came back with this feedback. They've been to places which I think most of our customers wouldn't normally go to. And I say that's been for them it was an amazing experience because they were in small towns, talking to locals, plugging into people's kitchens, plugging into to tourist information centres, and it was it was a great way to see more of New Zealand than probably what you and I have probably seen over the years. So it was a real learning experience from that.
Fantastic. So putting this into practice, you guys are going to roll out a further 10 vans this
Yep.
summer. I mean, what will those vehicles be, and what are the long-term plans for Jucy in regards to electric vehicles?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I mean, so the plan is to get 10 vehicles on the road in the next short term. We're going to buy new vehicles out of the UK as where we're currently sitting. So we'll be looking at a 40 kilowatt, 24 kilowatt here will be 40 kilowatts, which we believe will get us a range of between 180 and 200 kilometres. And I think after your experience last weekend, just having that extra range is going to make quite a big difference. We'll have 10 vehicles on the road for the summer, which is a relatively small fleet in our standards. We know that in order to sell this product, we're going to have to be a lot more detailed and giving people information of where to travel. So a big part of this is going to be creating itineraries, working with supported infrastructure and charging, working with campgrounds around those experiences. And we're going to work with Heloise and Celine, our French girls who have been away in this vehicle and creating some of those itineraries, which is really exciting. So long term for Jucy and EVs, I mean, we're committed to the space. It's very much early days. We're green. I think this project's green, and it's a great fit for us. And I'd love to see it become mainstream within the next sort of 2 to 3 to 4 years. So we're waiting to see what changes happen in the infrastructure space.
Fantastic.
Look at that.
When people are making their tourism decision as to which country to go to, do you think there'll be people in the near future who will choose to come to New Zealand because we're now seeing electric camper options here that they can pick up and come and experience New Zealand with an electric vehicle?
Yeah, I think right now to say that, I think we'd probably be a little bit naive. I don't think we're quite set up to be able to sell that story. But ultimately, I think people expect it of New Zealand. They expect that we are clean and green. They expect to come down and see that we're actually, we're embracing sustainable tourism. So I think ultimately this is going to be a competitive advantage for New Zealand as a destination. And I mean, the uptake in New Zealand is, from what I've seen, the community is amazing, and people are very keen to, just have to be at this event today to see the passion that people have for sustainable tourism and EVs. And I think it will affect their decision making going forward. Our customer base is 18 to 35, eternally young, we call them, for the ones like me that fall outside of that demographic. But they are very much they're passionate about their impact on the environment, and I think that's going to really start to show through as time goes on.
Fantastic. Thank you for speaking with us.
No problem at all. Thanks so much.
If you want to see more videos from EV Talk, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching on the Facebook page, please like EV Talk for more. If you're on our website, sign up to our email newsletter to make sure you get the latest updates from us. Thank you very much.